aggression, regression. The best don't obsess about oppression. Possess weapons, mind and body. Protect when defense is necessary. Appendix carry. This will vary. Nothing is foolproof, but fools fool you. So do you and lose dudes that want you to lose. So acts can use you as a stat, but they have been wrong. You are not defined by just your skin tone. So why attach yourself and piggyback the wealth you didn't earn or lack yourself? I'm telling you to own up to your own success and failures. It's a reason why these sleazy guys have you focused on all the bad news, hoping that
Yo, mic check. Yeah, I did it. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit late tonight, but it is a Saturday night. We still going to do it right. What's up, Toy Mafia, Ray Studios? Mad I didn't use the other thumbnail. GB, I'll address your concerns, sir. Thank you for stopping by. It is Spice 75, I believe it is. Let's get it. Did Trump get the middle finger, or did he not? Or did he get cheered? Or was he flipping burgers?
I'm not undermining nobody's struggle, and I'm not saying life's a box of chocolate or carnivores. I like to weigh in because you might have got what you bargained for. I hope you take it in a lot. This ain't an argument for. Part of you gotta be smart enough to know why you partying up. Your art really sucks. The audience starting you up. Chamber of echoes ringing. Same brain with names changing. Hearing opposing opinion and you malfunction. Characters non-playable. That's why you hate to move. And when you try to save a dude, they get to hating you. They don't want to be saved, but one of these days someone will say they told you so. You're gonna get played, but that's your business. Don't get your wig split acting an idiot. Back up a tidbit. This ain't a diss, kid, so list this. I wish this misfit would get pissed enough to get it, but he mad at all the wrong folk because he missed it. Yo, look. This ain't for sing-alongs. I don't want you to get it wrong. I know what you was tripping on. You've been lied to your whole life, fool. The right to beside you. That's why you always focus on what the white dudes do. Fist in the air, screaming loud and being proud. But you are going through the motions. What you leaving out? What have you been accomplishing? Did something get done within a month? You've been marching for the fun of it. The only thing you got is exercise. Wise up and trying to get your eyes up. It's like an exercise up. Existential heat, essentially, has no mind of his own. And
that's why he's an NPC. What's good? Let's see. What happened in Iowa today? I got topics about yay, white pill, legal system. Judicial system is the last hope here. And it's teetering both ways, but we do have a white pill on that. Again, no guarantees I get to all this stuff. Watch me talk about, I don't know, somebody's titties for like 2 hours, and then like, all that stuff I told you I was going to get to, we had other things. But I will get to Trump, though. I will get you to Trump. And let's take a look. He was in Iowa for a football game. I feel like, back in the day, I was a big football fan, college football fan. I went to many games in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I can tell you stories about that. And because I grew up as an Ohio State fan, so there's a lot of stories there about converting over and, liking both teams, believe it or not. But he went to a football game. But I feel like I'm a normie now from the standpoint of I have no idea what's going on with college football, and I have zero care in the world. So I don't know. What's this, Iowa versus Iowa State? I don't know. Don't care. Somebody told me that there's all kinds of weird teams in the Big Ten now, and it's not the Big Ten anymore. Couldn't care less. But let's take a look at this, though. The politics have got me into what is going on. Colin Rugg has the video, and it looks like Trump's getting cheered to me. Let's go. That has got to be a nightmare for Secret Service. It's Donald Trump and a slew of just random Negroes. And maybe I shouldn't use Negroes because there's not a lot of color there, but I just call anybody a Negro. Donald Trump's in a slew of Negroes. Secret Service is like, sir, could we not do this again? Like, let's not do this. But he's in there with the people. That's when Trump's at his best. That's Trump in his element. If you're just listening, he's outside the stadium. I don't know what he's doing. He's just walking around outside the stadium, just showing that he's a man of the people is basically what we're seeing. I have no idea who won the football game. Don't care. What I do care about is the aftermath or the pre-math. Let's take a look at some other videos. This one is from Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson has been just blowing. I mean, he's always been great, but I think he's just growing and blowing up. Just a smart marketer. I look at these people like Jeremy from the Quartering, even though we do have some disagreements on things, there is no disagreement that he is a marketing YouTube beast. So is Benny Johnson. He posted the video as well. This is a different one. Trump in the stands right now. To me, it's clear that people look at the Secret Service like, what's going on? Secret Service is like, damn, sir. They got to have their heads on a swivel. But you can tell there's some booze there. But of course you can get booze. It's a college campus. You're going to have some weirdos, some blue hairs or whatever. I don't know where the student section is. Sir, I bet definitely stay away from the student section. But I don't think he's close to the student section. I think that Trump largely gets love. What do y'all think? Let me address GB. GB said, let's get aboard the Trump train. Let me do the exact quote. Friend of show, GB, and member of the channel. Thank you, sir. Only $1 a month. I got to get some member videos out. Work with me, but I appreciate you, man. GB says, I just saw a bunch of clips of him getting cheered in Chants of USA. Just played a couple of them. It's time to get on the Trump train, Osiris. Trump or death. Yeah, and I think GB's referencing that I have stated that I am not going to vote for Trump. So can I have the best of both worlds? That I'm not against Donald Trump, obviously, but I still leave room for him to be able to win me over. We're not voting yet. My concerns are you haven't addressed my concerns. And I'm not here for you to just waddle your ass on to another presidency. You need to take this seriously. You are not the guy from 2016. The guy from 2016 would have taken every moment possible to get up on the stage and just totally annihilate people. And you would have had me rallying for you. But I'm not against Trump, so you know where I stand on that. Thanks, GB. Toy Mafia, of course. Thank you so much. Yo, you get me hyped with those yos. Ray won't be here long. He has to get up early for church. Thanks for the anytime you could get here. Ray texted me the picture of Trump that it looked like he was doing the sly middle finger. You tell me. I don't know. I haven't had time to dig into it. I don't think this is an important topic, but it's important enough for me to talk about it, so it's not like it's nothing. Let's take a look at these pictures here, these stills. I'm going to go to this one. This is the one Ray sent me, right? Where is it at? Of course, I bring it up now. I can't find it. Okay, so there's one where Trump has his middle finger, and it looks like it could be, I don't know if it's altered or not. It's probably not because it's hard to alter those. I have no idea, though. But Trump is pointing at a glass. He's inside his special suite at the special suite at the arena, at the stadium, and he's got his middle finger on the glass. That's not a natural position. You don't naturally lead with the middle finger. So if this is an authentic picture, which I have no reason to not think it is, but I don't know for sure, that looks like Trump was sending a signal. I think Trump was sending a signal to somebody. But I'm looking at some of the other stuff, and I'm like, Trump is beloved. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's obviously people who don't like Trump, but here is the one where people are showing a guy with the double middle fingers on him. Remember Seinfeld did that bit? It's something to the effect of like we're grown-ass people and a finger is what offends us. Like which finger? Why isn't it the pinky finger? I think, didn't he say that? He'd be like, I would be more offended if you stuck your pinky finger out. I forgot the exact bit, but he's like, no, I think it was his toe. I think he was like, if you were to take your shoes off, your sock off and stick your big toe up at me, then I'd be offended because you took a lot of time and effort. You sticking a finger at me, like what is that supposed to do? I mean, even more dumb than the N-word offending people, but it does. So I acknowledge that. So I'm trying not to drop the knickers as much, but it'll still fly. But there's a picture of a man in a black hat. We're seeing the back of the man, and he's got the two middle fingers going at Trump while Trump is waving. So we're in the middle of this informational battle where AI, all that other stuff is going on. So what I wonder is, were they really doing the middle finger at Trump? It's hard to tell. Let me show you. Because I'm looking at the totality of it. Like, I'm looking at all the pictures here. And one picture shows, and they actually Media Matters, the bootlicking site, was doing this. And so there's some middle finger, or Midas Touch. Midas Touch had it. And I think on this article here, they actually have the picture that made me wonder, was he really looking at the top? There were fans above the suite. Because, the suites are in kind of high up, but there's more stands behind it, I believe. So I'm looking at the pictures here. And this picture shows Trump with, let me pull that up. This picture shows Trump in the suites, and above Trump, there are people on a railing that are wearing different colored jerseys. So from what I know of Iowa was always, I don't know if it's maize, but, yellow, black. People will get offended because Michigan is maize and blue. You don't say yellow and blue. So I don't know what Iowa is, but I don't care about Iowa. So I'll say yellow and blue, or yellow and black. So I don't know if that's Iowa. I don't even know who they were playing. I don't care. But they're different colored jerseys at the top. So those fans probably don't like the fans in red. That would be Iowa State. So are they sticking the middle finger at Trump? I think Midas Touch is playing games here. I think Midas Touch is playing games here. Let me see if you can see that. I think they're doing the middle finger at the people above the Trump suite. You see how they're doing games here? We are in that informational battle where anything can happen. Trump can go to a college football game, and one side is going to try to paint everything ugly. The other side is going to try to paint everything beautiful. They have this article, and in this article, they said Trump gets flipped off at Iowa game after getting booed. Yeah, he got some boos, of course. Political, that was light compared to what do you think Brandon would do if he was out there? A lot of, with the football games I've been to, I haven't been to Iowa Stadium. I don't know which state. They looked like they were at Iowa State. But the student section is just flaming blue. All of these college stadiums. But outside of that, it's not. Outside of that, it might be establishment red, but it's not blue. So it's still bootlickers, but it's not all the same. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of those boos were coming from the college kids. So they said Trump, Ron DeSantis, and Vivek Ramaswamy all received one finger salutes from angry college football fans. What they really want to do is send this subliminal message to the youth, our college youth, that it's unacceptable if you cheer for Donald Trump. They don't want to see Donald Trump on a college campus getting cheered. That's where they do that. That's when they do the finishing touches. That's like the garnish on the indoctrination. They got the indoctrination, K through 12. You go to college and you pay to get indoctrinated. And finish it off, especially if you're not doing any type of significant degree like engineering or something significant. If you're out here doing gender studies or something like that, the degree itself might as well say indoctrination to the establishment credo. Even the medical profession, we played that video from Minnesota. I kind of get that accent when I say Minnesota. I'm not from Minnesota, but I get the accent. You kind of, get indoctrinated. I played that video from Minnesota. I think it was medical students who had to pledge to indigenous something. What does that have to do with like the oath to put people's health as a priority? So I think that's what they're really scared of. But I don't know. You tell me. Let me look at the chat. Does anybody else know what happened in Iowa? I think the chat's going to be very Trump friendly, of course. MDR says USA chants cheers breakout during Trump visit at Iowa football game as paid Biden influencers cope. That's what I'm talking about. We can all write headlines. I wasn't even there, and I'll write a headline. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Myself, I'm not gonna post something like that, but I'm perfectly fine with. So we don't know if Obama is gay or not, and does it matter? No, but I poke fun of him. That's the same. It's an informational battle. Because people were asking, well, why does it matter with Sasha Obama? And why would we worry about this or that? It's because Barack Obama did many things that I was very unhappy about, and he can get these jokes. So I actually don't care if he's gay or not. There's no meaning on me in my life at all. But other than these jokes and memes, other than the laughs, other than the ridicule, other than figuratively chopping them down to size. Let's see what else we got in the chat. Good evening, TNT Cycles PDX says one flipped him off, 65,000 cheered him, screaming, USA, USA. So, of course, the news says he's hated. I'm not even convinced that he got flipped off. I think Ray Studios was like, why did you use that thumbnail? It was kind of like the clickbait. Notice I put question mark, Trump flipped off or whatever, question mark. Because I actually honestly don't know. And do you trust the media? I don't. And even with the video, we don't know. Yeah, I agree. It was like one person booing him. And at the end of the day, that's not indicative of what's going to happen in the primary. We know. Did y'all hear that DeSantis? There is a quote that DeSantis and the team, they were saying that it doesn't matter how they finish in Iowa. There's a quote out there. Let's take a look at DeSantis. Laura Loomer says, wow, rough day. So let's take a look at this. Going back to Iowa, we're in primary season. Laura Loomer tweets or posts an X statement here. Wow, rough day for Ron DeSantis, and we know where Laura lies. So it's gonna always be a rough day for DeSantis from her, who is having a tailgate at the Iowa versus Iowa State football game today. Tons of people have already arrived in their Trump jerseys and Trump hats. Doesn't look like Ron DeSantis has any support at the football game today, where both he and President Trump are expected to be in attendance for the highly anticipated rivalry football game. Sucks to be DeSanctimonious. That's the longest nickname that has ever stuck in the history of the world. DeSanctimonious. A 6-syllable nickname that only Trump could brand and have it stick. I told you it was going to stick when he dropped it. That was last year. That was like what, October, November, something like that last year. And I was like, it's going to stick. And it looks like Ron DeSantis doesn't have, because Trump has that cultural impact, like it's Trump 24. You don't have the same with DeSantis. That doesn't mean that's not really substance, but culture matters. You got a Trump 1 jersey. You don't have that same energy on the DeSantis side. So I was rising up. I think Ron DeSantis is pretty much at the point where he's hoping that Donald Trump gets arrested. Of course he is. I completely believe that. That's what his candidacy is based on right now. He does not care if he finishes second in Iowa. He's going to ride it out as long as he can. Here's the quote that I have. This is from Jason Miller. Jason Miller, he's tweeting on X now. He's been on Getter for a while. I can't believe they said this on the record. DeSantis campaign lowers expectations in Iowa. Strong second. Good enough. What do you think? Is that good enough? Is that enough for me to say his goals are? I mean, if they're going to say that, and that is a real quote, if his team's going to say that, then what they're really saying is we hope Trump gets locked up. Ray says DeSantis might be doing what Henry Kissinger did, bent over in a dress and sticking his fingers in his ass. Y'all came out spicy from the start. DeSantis might be doing what Henry Kissinger did, bent over in a dress and sticking his fingers in his ass. And it didn't have to be this way, D. Ronnie D, it didn't have to be this way. Or Rob. My super chats won't post. Sorry, bro. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Did they demonetize me? They probably did. I don't know what happened. Well, I appreciate you. Just chat it up. Chat it up and let me know. Linda Wolf says Biden is unlived. He has been since 2019. So who's the dude walking around mumbling and walking out of medal ceremonies early? Is it a robot? Is it a stunt double? DeSantis doesn't have a chance against Trump. No, he does have one chance, an outside chance that Trump gets locked up. I don't know the timing of all that stuff, because how does that work with the primary? We don't know. Trump get locked up or something else. That's the only purpose of his campaign at this point. And he's made no adjustments. There have been no adjustments made. There was a big to-do about, like, he's going to do these interviews, and he did a pre-recorded interview with CNN. It didn't even make any news. It aired at the same time something else happened, and there was nothing in it. Like, he doesn't say anything that's eye-opening or anything like that. He has no buzz about him. And he should have been on The View. The View offered him the spot to go on their show. I would have been like, yes. Like, before the producer said, hey, Ron, are you interested? I would, yes. I'm free now. Why wouldn't you do that? Go heads up with them. And you probably would have had a good moment or two in there. Even if you fail, you would have went viral. He hasn't gone viral on anything. I don't think he's gone viral in anything. Linda Wolf is coming in spicy. Straight up, Michelle Obama is a man. Transgender, his real name is Michael LaVaughn Robinson. Yep. Barack Obama is gay, married to a man. I don't know. Allegedly. Allegedly. But I think it's starting to happen, though, Linda, since you're on that topic. What is starting to happen? The pivot is starting to happen. The pivot that we all talked about 2 years ago, basically. Really, right after Biden won, we all knew he wasn't going to run for a second term. It's not happening. The dude isn't there. And we are seeing the shift happen. It's just a matter of time. There's a rumor out there that the person that Linda Wolf not affectionately calls Big Mike might put his or her. We'll see if they come out or what happens with that. Maybe we could have our first trans candidate or president. But there's rumors that will happen. But here's what we're seeing in articles right now that's showing us people are looking at something. Shout out to Real Nico House, great commentator. He said it's happening. The Hill, 5 Democratic alternatives if President Biden exits the 2024 race. I always talk about this. My dad told me, do not overstay your welcome if you're over at somebody else's crib. Just don't do that. So it's almost like Joe Biden is at somebody else's crib, and they're saying, if you happen to leave within the next 5 minutes, we might have errands to run. We might have things to do. Biden's in the crib, he's chilling, and he's on the couch, and everybody in the house, it's not his house. Everybody in the house is like, when is this dude gonna leave? And they're dropping the hints to him. They're like, well, the kids got to get to bed. Joe, I got to put the kids to bed. What do you, it's like, I got to put the kids to bed. That's your signal to get up and say, give dap and say bye-bye. For some reason, he's not picking up the signals. And the signals will continue to get louder if he does not pick those up. Going to the Hill article, who are they putting up on this for him? So there's two messages being sent here. Number one, Joe, get the hell up out of here. That's not it. If he exits the race, that's them saying, get up out the race. But then they're also sending the message, it's not Kamala Harris. I don't know. I started calling her Kamala for some reason. Oh, you know why? Because when I do voice to text, when I say Kamala Harris, it doesn't, or Kamala Harris, it doesn't work right. So I have to say Kamala, then it does it right. Memo, 5 Democratic alternatives if President Biden exits the 2024 race. Who are we talking about? I'm going to start number 1, the person who Joe Biden would want to take over for him is the young Mayor Pete, the guy who I affectionately say is Dylan Mulvaney without the drag. He's Dylan, not Dylan Mulvaney. And he is the one that Joe Biden likes. Joe Biden loves the dude. And on a serious note, rest in peace to Beau Biden, Joe sees a lot of the same qualities in a different way, obviously, from Beau in Mayor Pete. Joe said that himself. And if he had say, so we'll be able to see how much sway Joe Biden has if he exits, because he's going to be the one to exit. So he's going to have to be the one to endorse whoever else. So the chess move here would be, I'm exiting the race. I feel Mayor Pete, as crazy as you might think that sounds, as he's struggled mightily as Secretary of Transportation, he's the one Joe would want. And they can feed and just pump the money in to whoever. But if you hear Joe step aside, say, hey, my health, or, you guys know I still got to wear these diapers and this is a lot. I had to take a lot of vacation. He's not going to say that, but we all know that's what he's going to say. I need to spend more time with my family. That's the classic one. I need to spend more time with my family. And Joe's going to step aside, potentially. And if he says, I don't know who's going to take over for me, then he doesn't have any sway. Then it's not Mayor Pete. Mayor Pete's going to have to fight for it. Let's take a look. And so they're saying, why are we even bringing this up? Almost 3/4 of the population, according to a poll, believes Biden lacks the stamina and sharpness to serve effectively as president. Polling is just more informational data. It's no different than the middle finger and the picture of Trump. And there's people on the top where I don't know if the dude is doing the middle finger to Trump or the people on the top. But, tomato, you can look at it one way. I can look at it another way. That's what the polls are. I can tweak this assumption one way or this way if I want to do this. If I want to make it more friendly to Biden, we can tweak it this way or that way. And it's just something to point at to give you ammo to get what you want done. The polling has no meaning. It is completely meaningless other than as a weapon. So when you see the Hill using it as a weapon, somebody wants this message out there. They want him up out of there. Even among Democrats and Democratic-leaning independents, 67% asserted the party should choose someone else as its standard bearer in the 2024 election. Despite all that, most Democrats believe Biden 80 will indeed be the party's nominee in the next election. It's going to have to happen. If they don't swap him out by the end of this year, I don't see how they swap him out. Early voting, it feels like early voting starts when's summer. I mean, it feels like it starts in August or something. I think it might in some places. So you don't have that much time. It will have to happen before December, before Christmas. Are we canceling Christmas, by the way? The pace that the country's on, we might have to. It's extremely difficult to defeat an incumbent president in a primary. And the president's two declared opponents, Robert, I'm surprised they even mentioned him, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., of course, Marianne Williamson. They didn't mention Cornel West. They don't, he's a more serious candidate in a way than both of them because he's running third party. So I guess that's why they didn't mention him because he's not in the primary. But he's the more serious one because he can take enough votes from Biden to sway things. Even so, especially he might have a lot with the Black Iman crowd. Even so, plenty of Democrats are at least daydreaming of alternatives just in case Biden, just in case you happen to leave the House in the next 5 minutes. I have a lot of stuff to do. Just in case Biden would decide to step aside or circumstances would change unexpectedly. What does that mean? Here's one alternative. His vice president, Kamala Harris. Harris is the obvious heir apparent to Biden. And Kamala Harris had this awkward video. She had this super cringe video that came out. And she's just having fun. I'm just having fun with you too, Kamala. She did a celebration party for 50th anniversary of hip hop. We have that in common. I love hip hop too. And she's listening to I was gonna say Tribe Called Quest, but no, it was Q-Tip solo, vibrant thing. So he's listening to it, and let me pull this up here. So this is her dancing to it. There you go, vibrant thing. Let's do it. Okay. Yeah. I like it. I like it. But what I don't like is her outfit. So, Kamala, we're going to have to figure that. Why are those pants up so high on you? Let me make sure I'm sure. Yeah. Why are those pants? The colors are fine. I just don't know. There's high-waisted and then there's high-waisted. Those pants are up to her assets. I don't know. She's probably just doing a throwback to the days where, remember, women used to wear, those actually made a comeback. Those high-waisted jeans, they actually made a huge comeback. And then she's wearing those old 90s. And those things are ugly. I don't know why they made a comeback. Somebody needs to put them back in the closet. Those high-waisted jeans that women wear, stop wearing them. If there's any females in the chat, I don't think it's a good idea. But there's Kamala Harris. Going back to the other candidates, of course, you got Gavin Newsom. So you're going to have the white male problem with him. And he just, I don't know what they're doing with the reparations thing. They keep doing that Charlie Brown, Lucy football thing with the reparations. So, but, Black Americans are the most politically inept, politically incompetent group of voters on the face of the planet. So they probably would vote for, even going against their own ideology. Gavin Newsom obviously is not a white supremacist because their handlers, the handlers of Black Americans, told them that he's not a white supremacist, and they would potentially vote for him. He's at least talked about reparations. I guess all's forgiven. So Gavin Newsom, of course. Mayor Pete, who's the one I said Joe Biden would want to choose. And this is an interesting potential. I think she was looked at VP. The problem is she has white skin, so that was a problem for the VP. Believe it or not, that's where we're at. Governor Gretchen Whitmer, one of the most disgusting governors that we have in the country, and has done a lot of, especially during the pandemic, was really, I would say she's the radical. But those are the ones. Which one would you choose if you had to? Choose your fighter. She's got a big fupa. She did have a big fupa. Kamala Harris was showing off the fupa. That's not sexy. I don't. She wasn't trying to be. I'm just putting it on the record. Fupas are not sexy. It's not what we want. So I'm gonna move on from Kamala. See, I told you we're all of a sudden we're talking about Kamala Harris fupa. That's not something that was planned. I was not. Well, I did plan to talk about that clip, so I guess I'm to blame for that. What's going on with Ye, y'all? Let's check in with Ye real quick. Kanye West had some stuff going on. So he went barefoot. Is this dude going like barefoot now? No, I'm serious. This nickel not wearing any shoes. Like he's not on the beach or anything. He's not wearing any shoes. Why is this nickel not wearing any shoes? Yay, are you okay? So I'm like, okay, he's just, he's trying to be different. He's a different type of dude, to put it kindly. And I'm like, okay, Ye didn't want to wear shoes. And he's making a statement with that. He just wants to make a statement. So they were spotted walking barefoot during their Italian vacation. But in this picture, you see she's wearing high heels and some white, I don't know what that is. It looks terrible. I don't know what they both look terrible. I think you get so rich there's that thing where rich people seem to have, let me make sure I wasn't sharing my screen. There you go. Make it bigger. There's this thing where rich people, like once you get to a certain level, it turns to bummy fashion. Like you have to look like a bum in a way. Now she doesn't. Sensori doesn't look like a bum, but she looks like a hot mess though. And Kanye West looks like he's from San Francisco, just straight up off the street, just finished doing some Fenty. I don't know what he's doing right now. He's barefoot, wearing. Is it not hot over there? What's the temperature in Italy right now? He's wearing all black. Is it not hot in Italy? Let me look out weather in Italy. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I thought it'd be the dead of summer. What's the highs? The highs, I'm looking at the highs. High was 90, or highs to 90 tomorrow. Maybe it was a cool day. I don't know what's going on, but Ye is wearing all black. These big kind of outfits that would be out of place even in the 90s when people were wearing hammer pants. And he's barefoot. I'm a little worried. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little concerned. I mean, I know you want to be out there. I know she looks like she looks like a mess in this one, Bianca Sensori. So the whole thing is disturbing because Ye doesn't do that. Do you remember when Ye was out, when Ye brought Kim out, they were decked out. At least Kim was. Kim never, I never seen Kim come out the house looking like this. I never seen her come out looking like this. I don't know what this is. So if you're just listening, she's wearing some weird white top that has like transparency in the lower part of where the boobs are. I don't know if it's transparency or what it is, but it makes the outfit look bad. And then the white see-through, the white on white with the three different types of white is off-putting. And then the high heels. So then he started doing all this public affection and stuff, and it just seemed forced. So she got her cheeks all out. She must work out, though. I mean, her shoulders are broad for, that's working out there. So I'm not trying to diss her on that. The outfit, though, it's like a tank top. And then Ye's walking around with this, it's like I don't know what the weather is where he is, but it's hot in Italy, and he's got now a black, it's almost like he put a black jacket over his head. He just knows how to be weird. He's really good at knowing how to be weird. Then he had to take the jacket and shirt off. Now we have to talk about your health habits. Yeah, your body type looks like Sasha Obama. Now I will give you some slack because your body type looks like mine. But We got to get better, bruh. That's not good enough. And I want you to do better. If you're just listening, he's got to do the fat test. The fat test. You can. I don't think you can hide a hot dog with mine. So I'm gonna say I'm not fat. Yay, I'm pretty sure you can hide one in Ye's rolls. That's my definition of whether you're fat or not. This is typically for women, but you can get right too, bro. So these are the pictures from TMZ. So you can see my concern just piling up as I'm watching this stuff. But if it was just this story, I wouldn't talk about it. It was more than just this story. The next story that came out was the boat incident. So it got worse. So I'm like, what's happening here? Ye was found with his wife to be on a boat, literally ass out, literally cheeks out, cheeks free. Kanye West and Bianca Censori banned from Venice water taxi because of obscenities. Yeah. I mean, his cheek is literally out. I'm showing the pictures on here. They're blurred out. He's bent over with cheeks exposed on a boat, just in the middle of public. He's supposed to be a Christian nationalist. What's happening, Ye? So you see, now I'm getting more concerned. On top of that, he's a musician. What happens to a lot of these musicians? Tragically, for whatever reason or another, they pass away. TNT Psychos PDX says, Ye needs mental health care. Dude's nuts. I'm not a doctor, but I'm concerned. So, especially when you're a Christian nationalist, obviously health is a concern for you. You're a big fashion guy. You normally have the one, he's been with Kim for so long. You normally, with her, Ye was the one that helped her fashion up. Kim wasn't a hot mess like this before Ye, but she was just nothing. She was just kind of awkward, didn't know what fashion was. Got with Ye. Ye taught her fashion, and now she's a fashion queen. And now he goes to her, and she's looking terrible. I don't know what's happening. I think that's a reflection on some type of problem here. Cheeks out, ass out, everything. So they banned them because of this incident. They're like, we can't have cheeks out here. Like, we want to come out and enjoy the historic island city, and this is a special location for us. And when we're taking pictures, I don't want to share them with my kids, and they ask, well, is that Kanye West ass cheek in the corner? Daddy, whose ass cheek is that? We don't want that. Yay? That's not desirable. Yay? Why am I talking about your ass cheeks? Yay? This is more problematic for me than the I love the guy with the funny mustache statements. That was actually brilliant stuff. Brilliant culture jamming, culture shock type of stuff to wake people up. But this right here, and why was his cheeks hand like that? Because his wife was on the lower part of the boat giving him a Larry Sinclair out in public. Are you Christian? Or like, obviously I'm Christian. Obviously I'm not the best role model. So I'm not trying to say that I'm any type of role model. But I haven't had my cheeks out in a Italy water taxi for everyone in the world to see, knowing that everybody's like, that's Ye, and they're taking pictures. Everybody knows it's you, Ye, even in Italy. So I think that's a level above, the normal demons that everybody struggles with every day. So then I'm like, okay. I'm like, damn, Ye's kind of out there. Then this story came out. Yeah, it's not done. Another story came out. Ye's wife was spotted wearing something that makes her look like she has no clothes on. So it's like they just keep upping the ante. And this is disturbing because Ye talked about it in the Tucker interview where he was like, he wasn't happy with how the lingerie company Skims, I believe. Yeah, the Skims company that they had was trying to pimp out Kim. And then now we look at this. I mean, his wife. Why did they put wife in quotes? Didn't they get married? Somebody tell me why they have wife and husband in quotes. That's weird. I thought they got married. Or maybe we don't know if they got married. Okay. That's a significant thing to put wife in quotes there. Kanye West's wife, Bianca Censori, turns heads in see-through naked. Now you understand why that's a naked. She's not naked, top and tights in Italy. So she's not naked. She just has on basically a bodysuit with the same skin color that, of her skin. And this is, I'm showing the picture here. It looks like she's naked, but she's not. So I guess that's kind of, that is kind of, he did that video with everybody naked I think it was AI done, I'm not sure, but they were all naked. It's still on YouTube. You can't search. I think you have to know where the link is. I don't think you can even search for that video. But there it is, cheeks and everything. And then again in the high heels. And that's not a typical Ye thing. So YouTube, she's not naked. She's covered up. She's a very attractive looking young lady. It's weird that she looks just like Kim. And then Ye had that tweet, or I think it was from Instagram, where on the anniversary of the passing of the Queen, he said, "I lost my Queen too." And I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, you still talking about Kim like this? Kanye West relates to UK mourners. "I lost my Queen too." I'm like, what? My final takeaway from this is, he's got to get help from somebody he respects. I don't know what's going on with him. I think he went so hard. All that stuff he did in such a short time was a lot to absorb and to withstand, and he's still getting heat right now. I don't know what happened, but he seems to be mentally gone and burned out. So my big takeaway is to pace yourself. If you feel if that's my lesson with this, what's happening with it. I don't know if that's it. I'm just making up my lesson to it. Because he has to live his life. But what am I going to look at this stuff and take away? My takeaway is pace yourself. Don't burn out. Or you could be like, I'm not saying that's what happened to you. I have no idea. But you could go that path if you get burned out, to pace yourself. And then, oh, wow, TNT Psycho said she'd have to pay me to blow me. Oh, because off-putting. Somebody said she looks like a hooker. Kim is evil. You can see it in her eyes. So Ye had that dinner with, obviously, the famous dinner with Trump and Fuentes, and Milo was there too, I believe. And President Trump was talking bad about Kim. And I think he thought, well, that's his ex now, so, you hate your ex. But Trump misread that. Kanye got upset. Kanye wasn't happy because he's still there with Kim. So there's a lot going on with him, man. I hope he's all right. And my end on that is get your mind right. There's a song from Slum Village, and Elzai's in it. It's called Reunion. It's a great song. And the song ends, and the last verse of the song is just one of my favorite verses, but it's a real personal verse where Elzai is a new member of this group, Slum Village. Well, he's already been down with them, but he kind of filled in, and the old member, Baten, was having drug issues and falling, all kinds of issues. He did end up passing away from drugs. And the whole verse is Elzai saying, "I'm trying to help you because I love you, bruh," basically, in a very poignant way. And the last line in that verse was like, "Get your mind right, nigga." And that's my message for Kanye West. Was she, Ray Studio says, was she give Ye some in the ass? That's an interesting thought. I don't know, man. She was doing it from the front, so I don't. If Ye can get down, that'd be wild if he was getting down like that in public. Ray says, it's a spicy Saturday. Extra spicy Saturday. Just put a little bit more hot sauce on it, or what do you, Tabasco? What do y'all do? I love peppers now. I love the peppers now. The pepper heat, because I used to do Tabasco sauce and hot sauce, and I don't like sriracha that much anymore. Actually, I don't know why, but the pepper, habanero peppers, that ghost pepper. I had a salt from one of these, these fancy little stores, and um, my wife got it as a treat. This is years ago, and it was ghost pepper salt. And we haven't got it since because it's like, I don't know, it was like $10 for like a little bag of salt. So it was just it was a lot, but that was my favorite salt of all time. It was heat and not too much heat and salt. Man, it was good. But we doing an extra salty Saturday. Ray Studio says that mouth of hers ain't getting anywhere near my junk. Yeah, I don't blame y'all with that. If you project that trashiness, and actually, I hope she's okay too, because that relationship is, I don't know what's happening. It's something is off there. Something feels concerning off. And I'm a Ye fan. So I want him to be around. I think Ye has a lot to give to the world. Ultimately, that's going to be God's plan, how that works for Ye and all of us. But I want him to be good. I don't know her other than recently. Hopefully because I don't know what type of relationship's going on there. It's a concerning stuff what we're seeing. So you see that in public. What's happening in private? I don't know. Yeah. So let me go on to the next topic at hand. So we talked about Trump got the middle finger. What about this? Trump is going to win the primary, barring something crazy. What about the Democratic primary? What's happening over there with that situation? Well, let's take a look. Kennedy 24. This is going to the RFKJ website. He's pissed off. RFK Jr. is really pissed off. Blasts DNC rigged process, slams Biden in new Forbes interview.
Hi, everybody. I'm Diane Brady. I'm here with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., environmental lawyer and activist who is, of course, seeking the Democratic nomination for president. Mr. Kennedy, good to see you.
Very good to be here with you, Diane.
So where are you? Are you joining us from the West Coast right now? Give us some sense of place.
I'm in my office in Brentwood, California. And I've been here for now about 5 days, and then I go.
Let me get a feel from the chat. I haven't really talked about his voice much, but a lot of people provide feedback that they can't stand his voice, and it's never been a problem for me. Accents, maybe I've never been sensitive to accents, but it's not an accent, but maybe that has some type of correlation. I think it actually makes him more interesting, his voice, because it's a distinguishing feature. I think if he just sounded like some normal dude, I don't know if he would have the same impact, to be honest with you. But the feedback I'm getting from people is like, don't even play his clips. Well, YouTube doesn't like his clips because he's testing Biden. But besides that, don't play his clips because his voice sounds messed up. Well, TNT Cycle said I cannot listen to him. Wow. So I might not play the clips. People are off-put by his voice. That's the feedback I've gotten from people. And so I'll just read kind of what the article is. I think it's very interesting. Maybe I'll do that as like a private, not private, but a members only video. But what's happening with RFK is the DNC is trying to really kind of stop him. It's a real big deal here. RFKJ is being, well, indirectly threatened, I would say, by the DNC. Let's go to Fox News for it. I don't want to get a interview from him. His campaign accused the DNC of being undemocratic because it is, but it's a corporation. They under court, and there was that court. They were contested back when Bernie lost, and it was found they don't have to abide by anything. They're a company. That's what the court said. A company with a monopoly. It's unclear how overturning the nation's majority vote could be interpreted as trusting the people. So this is what happened. He's calling for transparency because they're doing that delegates thing again. They can control the delegates to do whatever they want. Unfortunately, here's the quote from a press release. Unfortunately, it appears that the DNC has created a class of pledged delegates. They've always had that, called party leaders, elected officials, who are essentially the same as superdelegates due to the amount of control the party exercises over elected officials. This puts the DNC once again in the position of overturning the will of voters across the United States. It's unclear how overturning the nation's majority vote could be interpreted as trusting the people. Dennis Kucinich, who is a really interesting, fun candidate from back in the day, he sent 2 letters this week to the DNC chair, Jamie Harrison, who is an establishment shill. He was that rising guy in the DNC chair now, requesting a meeting between Harrison and Kennedy. That meeting, according to the campaign, would be to discuss voter rights and protection of the people's votes. So he's worried about what's going to happen in the primary. So they did this new rule. This is completely made up and new in New Hampshire. So listen to this. The DNC proposed reordering of state primaries to penalize states that did not vote for Joe Biden in 2020 would discount the votes of millions of Americans and limit the ballot access of millions more to mail-in voting only. States at risk of such disenfranchisement include New Hampshire, where Biden came in last in 2020, receiving 0 delegates, Iowa, where Biden came in 4th in 2020, and Georgia, one of the most diverse states in the country. The campaign says creation of a new class of superdelegates. So maybe this is new. I'm sorry. I thought they were just normal superdelegates. Maybe this is a new thing here. Empowered to overturn the vote. But what's the difference? They already had superdelegates. I don't really see what's new. They could have done that before. So I'll have to research that. Empowered, maybe I'm wrong there. Empowered to overturn the vote of the people and hand the nomination to the favored candidate of the party elites. So they're making up rules, and they can completely make up whatever rule they want. And Kennedy, at the end of the day, said he's threatening. He never said this before. He's threatening to go third party. He's threatening to go independent. And he had not really said that many bad things about Biden. I believe he even said Biden. I don't know if he said Biden was a friend or not, but I don't think he said anything really that harsh about Joe Biden. And right now, he is really heated talking about this situation. In New Hampshire, let me see if I can find out the details of that, what they're doing here. Okay, they didn't detail it here. I got to find a different article to cover that. But basically what they said is if you go out of order, then your delegates don't count. Basically, the delegates are the scoreboard to whoever gets the nomination. And if you do go out of order, then you also get dinged in the next state. So they're just making up stuff at this point. Nate's Memes says, well, RFK isn't sponsored by Big Pharma or George Soros. I'm pretty sure those are 2 minimum requirements for candidates. Shoulder shrug. Yep. That could be a problem. And just to be clear, I'm not a RFKJ fan. I think he's duplicitous with his takes as running for president. I think his book was excellent, but I don't like the fake kind of peace movement, and I strongly disagree with Dave Smith on the position with RFK. He's not anti-war. And so he's trying to kind of portray that. He's calling out the right people, but at the end of the day, he's not taking that. Vivek is the only one, including Trump, he's the only one that has said, I'm cutting off funds to Ukraine. RFK has never said that. He's never even come close to saying that. And if you can't say that, Trump has never said that. Trump actually said the reverse. It was to negotiate Russia to deal. So he's using it as a negotiation chip. But he actually said, we'll fund Ukraine if we need to. Basically just as leverage. Not that Trump is pro-war, but he's pro-leverage to stop war. But however you want to spin that, Vivek is the only one that has come out and said, nope, cut out those funds. Ron DeSantis hasn't said that. Donald Trump hasn't said that. RFK Jr. hasn't said that. So they got a long way to go. I got a couple clips from the Ken Paxton impeachment, and I'm just going to show the clips. I've got to unwrap and unroll what's happening with the impeachment of Ken Paxton. All the allegations. I actually did a full breakdown a little while ago, thread, where I broke it down. So I could cover that, but I still need to go back to it, figure out what's going on, and then cover it from there. But I do have some really crazy clips. Let me show this clip here. This is amazing stuff. So I'm going to show this clip in two different forms. This form right here was hype. This account, Ultra MAGA Party, they know how to do drops.
You went to the FBI and reported him for potential crimes without any evidence. Do I have that correct?
So they're talking about Ken Paxton. If you don't know, Ken Paxton is suspended. The only attorney general in this country with the cojones. He's the one that brought Texas v. Pennsylvania. It is not an accident that they are looking at suspending him and trying to impeach him. It looks like it's not going to work. The House in Texas, the House state legislative chamber seems to be corporate Bush, old, just like, Arizona's old McCain money, old McCain supporters. Establishment, just like Georgia, Brian Kemp, all them, they're the old guard. They're the Bush guards. And Ken Paxton beat the Jeb Bush's son for AG. Beat his ass in the polling, not literally, but in the race. So it looks like the Bushes, the Bush money, trying to get him out of there. On top of that, he's the only AG in our country, if he weren't suspended right now, who I would be looking at to go after New Mexico for banning the Second Amendment, going after Georgia for going at Trump, New York going at Trump, the federal government. He's the one that would bring the lawsuits. And you wouldn't be able to deny all of them. So this is his defense attorney here, picking it apart. I'm going to play it again in another clip. It's so good.
You went to the FBI and reported him for potential crimes without any evidence. Do I have that correct?
We went to the FBI and reported
Please answer my question.
our belief that criminal activity had occurred.
That was not my question.
Please answer the question, yes or no.
Did I ask it again, Mr. Vassar? I want to get this straight. You went to the FBI on September 30th with your compatriots and reported the elected attorney general of the state for a crime without any evidence. Yes?
That's right. We took no evidence.
Did you gain any after that? Did you gain any after that?
Well, we weren't collecting evidence.
Did you gain any after that?
Evidence of what, sir? Of
Evidence of a crime committed by the elected attorney general in this state, elected by over 4 million voters. That guy.
I don't recall if we had.
You went to the FBI and reported
So
him.
that's just a dramatic, well done clip there. Thank you, TNT Cycles PDX. You've been great in the chat, and thank you for finding the channel. However you found the channel, however any of you found the channel, thanks for at least giving it a chance. I'm just a bro trying to do my best, and this really helps. He says, you're quickly becoming one of my favorite channels. Thank you for your hard work. Appreciate you, man. You've one of my favorite chatters already. $5 super chat. Thank you. Let's go to a thread I did a while back because I knew this was coming up. I did this thread in May, and I did this thread just for the record. I didn't care if anybody saw this thread or anything like that. I just did it as notes. And let me go through it real quick. The articles of impeachment against Texas Attorney General Warren Kenneth Paxton, listed without judgment, include the following. Abuse of power. This is what they're alleging. Allegedly abusing his position to protect businessman Nate Paul. This is directly from the articles of impeachment, not from any articles. Very important to say. These articles can misconstrue stuff. They phrase stuff in a different way. If you have a PDF of a document, you can go straight there with ChatGPT, read some of it, read it, verify it, and you got some good stuff without having to get it filtered through the whack news. So they're saying he abused power to protect businessman Nate Paul, in particular protecting his properties from foreclosure sales, engaging in actions harmful to the Roy F. Joanne Cole Mitt, you pronounce that, Mitt Foundation, and intervening in a lawsuit to benefit Nate Paul. No evidence of anything. No evidence has been presented. It's not a court proceeding. Some people kind of treat this like it is. It's not. They lied about Donald Trump in the impeachment, and they can. It's a political process. Biased legal opinions. It's alleged that Ken Paxton issued biased legal opinions to protect Nate Paul's properties from foreclosure sales, using a Senate committee chair as a straw requester to hide his actions. Misuse of the open records process. Paxton is accused of violating the law by refusing to render proper decisions on public information requests, which is a violation of his duty. Violation of laws governing the appointment of prosecuting attorneys pro tem, allegedly engaged in attorney Brandon Kamek to investigate a baseless complaint, thus violating these laws. Violation of the whistleblower law. Allegedly terminated employees who have reported his illegal actions. That's where you're going to see a crier in a second. This is where you're going to see a crier in a second. Little Adam Kinzinger. Remember this one. Allegedly terminated employees who reported his illegal actions to law enforcement authorities, a violation of the state's whistleblower law. I'm going to play that clip in a second. Misuse of public resources. Constitutional bribery. If you go to Twitter, you can search any of this and you'll find it. Obstruction of justice. So they're putting all these, making false statements. Misappropriation of public resources. Dereliction of duty. Unfitness for office. Just throwing everything they can at him. Abuse of public trust. And then attempted conspiracy. Conspiracy is so crazy. Listed without judgment, I have a link to it here taken directly from Texas Bill 2377, Articles of Impeachment. Here's the crybaby Adam Kinzinger clip, and then I'm going to go back to that one in a format without the music in the background. DC Drano says, move over Adam Kinzinger. We got a new crybaby deep stater. This is Ryan Vassar, the junior lawyer who reported AG Ken Paxton to the FBI without any evidence. He's the one they're saying is the whistleblower. But they're saying it'd be like me going to the FBI and saying, hey, this guy's doing all this stuff, and I have no evidence. Notice who he's going to. The FBI. Who do you think the FBI is going to side with politically on this? The FBI is a completely politicized organization that can bring legitimate charges and investigations to people. Ken fired him for insubordination and referred to him as rogue. Ryan said that hurt his feeling. So much soy. Here it is.
Or have you heard? You're being referred to by the Attorney General, all of you, as rogue employees?
Yes, sir.
What was your reaction when you heard that allegation?
It was hurtful.
Why? Tell me.
I've sorry. I worked for the state for 8 years as a public servant, as one who values.
May I approach the witness?
Yes. Thank you.
Let me just describe that. If you're just listening, this will be on the podcast. You can get it Apple. I do Spotify or Google Podcasts, but wherever you get your podcasts, I do upload these pretty consistently now. And he had to wipe tears from his eyes, and it looks worse than the Adam Kinzinger one.
As one who values.
May I approach the witness?
May I approach the witness? And he brings a handkerchief.
Yes.
Like he's some bitch or something.
Thank you. As one who values.
You're not going to get an award for this one. You're not in the running. You're not even nominated. This is bad acting.
Use the commitment to public service to set an example for my kids. The people that I worked with, the people that I managed.
He's selling it too much.
It's contrary, the statement of being rogue is contrary to the years that I dedicated my life to the state.
He's really selling it, isn't he? So let's look at this longer clip. So he's the one that's supposed to be the whistleblower. And the thing that I'm looking at is what evidence is there? That's what I'm looking at, because I need to see it. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Is there evidence of Ken Paxton doing anything? I have not seen any yet. And these type of things, this is not definitive. I'm not making any type of definitive action on it. But let me look for that longer clip there. Just got here. What's going on? So we're talking about Ken Paxton. There's a big thing going on in the country right now. Ken Paxton, the Attorney General for Texas. He's the one that brought Texas v. Pennsylvania. What it appears to look like. So I have not dug into everything yet. But the optics look like the old Bush guard want to strike back at someone who beat the son of Jeb Bush to be AG, beat his ass easily, and someone who is not afraid to go after the cabal. Texas v. Pennsylvania was really close to exposing, in my opinion, a lot of stuff if the Supreme Court had taken that case. So what you just saw there was the person that brought the accusations against Ken Paxton to the FBI. And what the lawyer is saying is, you have no proof. You have no proof of anything. That's what the lawyer is saying in that clip. So it's a very big thing. I'm going to play this clip here. This clip is a little bit longer so this is 1 minute 42 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead this one's a different one. Let me play this one here just to show you what's going on with this trial. I want to just cover at least what I'm seeing.
Do you not remember that? Sir, we did not go behind the Attorney General's back. Did you tell him you were going to the FBI? Yes or no? Sir, we did not go behind the... Mr. Bangert, I'm asking you yes or no questions. Did you tell Ken Paxton?
So they're going to the FBI. Ken Paxton is one of the best AGs in the country, at least from fearlessness standpoint. I'm not going to vouch for a dude's character, but I'm just saying what he has done is very significant. In Texas v. Pennsylvania is not the only thing. And these people went to the FBI. And what they're saying is you went to the FBI with nothing.
Do you not remember that? Sir, we did not go behind the Attorney General's back. Did you tell him you were going to the FBI? Yes or no? Sir, we did not go behind the... Mr. Bangert, I'm asking you yes or no questions. Did you tell Ken Paxton you were going to the FBI? Yes or no?
I cannot answer that question with a yes or no.
Witness, you'll answer the question.
Yes or no, Mr. Bangert?
Provided him with ample opportunity.
That's not what I asked you. Did you tell Ken Paxton you were going to the FBI? Yes or no?
We gave him ample opportunity.
That's not what I asked. Objection non-responsive, Your Honor. I'd ask that he answer the question before him.
Witness is ordered to answer the question, yes or no.
Mr. Bangert, it's a very simple question. Did you tell Ken Paxton that you were going to go to the FBI?
On September 30th, we did not.
It's a yes or no question, Mr. Bangert.
It's
a
not
yes or no.
a yes or no
It is a yes or no question.
Counsel.
Excuse me, sir. Your Honor, he answered the question, but because he was talking on top of him, he didn't hear it. He said on September the 30th, we did not. And he starts interrupting him halfway before, and the court reporter probably had trouble hearing, we did not. So I just asked him to let him finish what he's saying and not talk on top of him, if for no other person than the court reporter.
You can ask the question one more time.
Mr. Bangert, it is a yes or no question, and I want a yes or no answer. Did you tell Ken Paxton that you were going to the FBI?
I did not tell Ken Paxton before I went to the FBI.
Okay.
So they had to admit that. So now let's hear from Ken Paxton himself. This is one of the biggest things going on in the country right now. Other than the Second Amendment being suspended in the whole state of New Mexico. Now, it's only applicable to certain areas there, but the decree, the executive order is for the whole state. And it's just based on certain criteria that only affect a couple areas. But it is factual to say the Second Amendment has been suspended in the whole state of New Mexico.
It's certainly critical to my state, and that's why we fought off these 12 lawsuits. We had them in Houston, we had them in San Antonio, we had them in Austin, we had them in the counties where you'd have the most liberal judges. And it was a concerted effort nationally with lots of money going into it. And just knowing that we had 12 lawsuits that we had to win. And if we had lost one of them, like if we lost Harris County, Trump won by 620,000 votes in Texas. Harris County mail-in ballots that they wanted to send out were 2.5 million. Those were all illegal, and we were able to stop every one of them. Had we not done that, we would have been in the very same situation. We would have been on election night. I was watching election night, and I knew when I saw what was happening in these other states that would have been Texas. We would have been in the same boat. We would have been one of those battleground states.
They would have. So it might be hard to understand. What Ken Paxton's saying is if he didn't find out and stop 2.5 million mail-in ballots during 2020, Biden would have won Texas. That's what he's saying. And that's the part, that's the stuff. I have not independently verified that, but if that is true, you can see why they would go after him. Let's look at this one too. This is Steve Bannon, and he just breaks it down so well.
Ken Paxton's on trial for one reason. Ken Paxton's on trial because he's been a supporter of the Trump movement. He moved immediately to contest the 2020 election and really led the charge at the state level. Because as Ken Paxton said when we had him on here, and I think we had him on as our first guest after the inauguration of the illegitimate Joe Biden. I think Ken Paxton said where the Biden regime is within the bounds of the Constitution, we'll have no problem. Where they're outside the Constitution, I'll contest it. He said that the very first day, and he was one of the leaders in that. He's one of the backers of President Trump. He's also had the mortal sin to the Bush family of ending the political career of the golden child. George P. Bush, remember, this is the guy they sent over to like 30 days. This is, the Bushes pulled a stunt with George P., the golden child, that Joe Biden did with Hunter. Joe Biden gun decked it to get Hunter into the Navy, right, as an officer, as a drug addict and an officer. I think he lasted 30 days. The Bushes did the same thing with George P. The mortal sin of Ken Paxton to the Bush apparatus was that Ken Paxton crushed George P. Bush.
And then I'm going to end with this here on this, just breaking down the side of people arguing that the Bush family, CIA oil intelligence mafia, is behind all of this with Ken Paxton.
Production per capita than Saudi Arabia. And there's a lot of very fascinating elements of West Texas, of the power structure here that projects outward across America and across the rest of the world that I think a lot of folks would benefit from hearing about. It's been a subject of fascination for me for many years, and I think it will be for you too. So I'll start with an anecdote here. Senator Ted Cruz is a Republican senator in the state of Texas, and last year he had put between 35 and 65 congressional picks from the Biden administration on hold, refusing to ratify them in the Senate to have Senate confirmed positions until sanctions were put back on the Nord Stream pipeline. Now, these were over totally random picks, FTC, education, intelligence, national security, labor, all of these picks. And he traded it all for a floor vote on putting sanctions on the Nord Stream pipeline. So this is a prominent politician who cares about the culture wars, who talked a big talk, and in the end, he traded it all for a vote on a oil pipeline that was 5,000 miles away from his home state with his home constituents. How can you explain this without understanding the geopolitics of West Texas? So let's take a step back and transport back in time to the 1960s. In 1963, when Kennedy was assassinated, there were many parapolitical researchers who tried to make sense of American power structures and how this could have happened, how there could have been this supposed CIA involvement in the story, the role of everything from anti-Castro Cubans to energy politics to military-industrial complex. And there was a writer and researcher named Peter Dale Scott who penned a book and a sort of framework theory called the Yankee Cowboy War. And this was this idea that you had basically two power centers in the United States. One of them he called the Yankees, which were primarily...
So I'm going to stop it there. This is a great breakdown. You see how it can take time, because I usually like to take this. This is an 11-minute clip. I'm not playing the whole thing. I usually like to take this, and I can put it in my Descript app now, and look through I could read it instead of listening to the video and breaking it down, like pulling out what I want to see so I can present it with how I want to. But I will do that when I have time. This is a big deal. Even this is going to get kicked out. The Senate's not having it. So I don't think there's any concern. Well, the process is concerning, but I don't think Ken Paxton is going to be removed from office. But you can see there's a lot going on. That's how these red states, the uniparty operates. Donald Trump, give Donald Trump credit. He's the one that forced the uniparty to really come out of the shadows. And that's what you saw about with Arizona. Not just like the candidates like Fontes or whoever else, also the judicial system. You could see them having to come out and really expose themselves. Let's take a trip over to California. We were talking about this in the Discord, Metalopoly, Cyan, and others. Is California okay? In California, just in from today, Colin Rugg. Colin Rugg's been, I don't even know who that dude is. I subscribed. I just like his post. Have no idea who he is. He's a Tesla guy, I thought. Yeah, like I know him as like a Tesla dude, and I guess he kind of made that same career arc that I did. Because I have a channel where I was going to talk like all Tesla. I don't have time for that. We got a country to save, y'all. Colin Rugg says, just in, California State Assembly has just passed a bill allowing parents to lose custody of their children. Wow. We are turning to somewhat of a somber note. Let me bring that back. This is serious. This is really happening. So when I say that the Democratic apparatus corporation is the most heinous corporation that's ever existed, I mean that they're the most heinous corporation that's ever existed. Have they done the millions of unliving that others have? I'm not sure how many through the years that have been unlived by this corporation, but I don't think we have a accurate total, so I don't know. But unliving people is not the only heinous thing you can do to people. How about taking away people's kids? They just passed a bill allowing parents to lose custody of their children if they refuse to accept their child's gender transition. They want your kids. California lawmakers sent Gavin Newsom a proposed law that would require judges to consider a parent's affirmation of their child's identity in custody cases, reported on X. State Senator Scott Wiener, who has no kids, his name is Scott Wiener. He is something else if you ever seen his positions. He's like a caricature of your standard left, establishment leftist. State Senator Scott Wiener, who has no kids, co-authored the legislation. He is creepy. I would agree with that. And take a look who's here. We got a representative of the worst voting bloc. I said Black Americans, specifically Black women. They on some other shit right now.
That parents affirm their children. They have since the dawn of time. Typically, it happens when their gender identity expression matches their biological gender. But what happens is when it doesn't, that's when the affirmation starts to wane. And that's what we're dealing with here.
You bald-headed bitch, do not overstep your bounds. You must be crazy. I do not tell you how to raise your kids, and you surely will not tell me how to raise mine.
That parents affirm their children. They have since the dawn of time.
Let me make this clear. I will affirm that you have no power over me, period.
Typically, it happens when their gender identity expression matches their biological gender. But what happens is when it doesn't.
What happened to Black women? What is this? This is not natural. You didn't hear anybody talking about this 10 years ago. What happened? That's wokeness. My definition of wokeness is allowing an authority outside of God to define your moral fabric.
That parents affirm their children. They have since the dawn.
What are you talking about? Affirm their children? I don't even know what. We don't even speak the same language anymore. Since the dawn of time, we affirmed what? I don't affirm anything, and I don't even know what that word means. What do you mean affirm the children?
That parents affirm their children. They have since the dawn of time. Typically, it happens when their gender identity expression matches their biological gender. But what happens is when it doesn't, that's when the affirmation starts to wane. And
yes, because we don't affirm idiocy. We don't affirm mental illness. And that's my right to decide. We've got Trump arrested, we've got 2A suspended, and California says when your affirmation wanes away from what we believe, come here, your children.
matches their biological gender. But what happens is when it doesn't, that's when the affirmation starts to wane. And that's what we're dealing with here. Although it's called the TGI bill, they're not mentioned anywhere in the law. What's mentioned in the law is the child's gender identity and expression and the parent's affirmation of that.
This is evil compared to any evil we've ever seen on the face of the planet. Pick evil. Pick something that you think is evil. This can be compared to that. Anything. I said it's worse. I did a video with a thumbnail saying that this is worse than slavery. At least with slavery, because it's happening right now, at least with slavery in the world, at least with slavery, you could understand the thought process behind it. You want to get something for cheap, you enslave someone to put it together for you. And then you mark up the price. It's evil, but very logical. I got it. What's the thought process behind this?
Whatever it is, because that is our duty as parents to affirm our children.
This makes no sense. So it's more dangerous. It's worse than slavery. It's far worse. I don't know. What is your motive? Why do you care how I raise my children? Why?
That parents affirm their children. They have since the dawn of time.
And then delivers it in such a matter-of-fact way. You know, I'm seeing her do that, and I'm thinking like, just like when Will, the Will Chris Rock situation, G.I. Jane 2.
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay.
That was me. That is me to whoever that bald-headed bitch is. We are beyond. We are beyond. We're beyond laws. We're beyond the Constitution. We just talking person to person now. We're beyond all that stuff. The union, all that. We're past that. This ain't. I'm not taking nonsense to the Supreme Court. We just end it. You do you. I don't have any interest in, if you want to turn your beautiful young lady into a dude with a goatee, boo-boo do you. I don't care. Just don't try to be aggressive to me. $5 super chat. It's just different, says Black women ain't nothing but pawns for the left. The community is matriarchy. Yeah. And it's sad. It makes me sad. Doesn't excite me. Very often I say self-described Black because you have to make that choice. I chatted with somebody and I was like, and they were like, well, I had, what did I say? I forgot what I said. I said something about these Black imams. And they said, well, aren't you Black? And I said, whatever you are, I don't identify as. So, because they're one of those type of people. So if you identify as Black, then I will identify as something else. I'm a dark brown. I'm a black coffee skin color. I'm a dark brown. Whatever you are, if you identified as dark brown, then I would identify as Black. I just want to make sure I'm not identified with whatever that voting group is. I want to make sure I'm not identifying. I am self-identifying that with something that is not her. That's the whole point of it. So that's why I say self-identified. Y'all dangerous. I don't know who you're allowing to set your moral foundation, but that's for damn sure not God. I know that. Look at history MDR22315 says, look at history. Whenever a government was overthrown, they used religion to control and oppress the people. Wokeness is their new religion. It is. Wokeness is the religion. Government is God. On the Middle MAGA website, it's very brief. I gotta get I didn't even put my definition of cancel culture in there. I gotta save this link and update this. I have a definition on here. This is the Middle MAGA website if you haven't been there. I haven't done an article in a minute. I've been doing the Twitter threads just because I can do them kind of quick. But here's the Middle MAGA website. This is the blog part of it. And on it, I was like, I got to redefine these words that people have tried to take. Vaccine's one of them. Vaccine. After this, let me revisit the progression of the definition of the word vaccine. And you're going to see, if you scroll down to the bottom, I got to get a search function or something. But if you keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, you'll see dictionary of terms. And in this dictionary of terms, I have equity. So I have woke is the act of allowing authority outside of God to define your morality. If you don't believe in God, you are woke. I just put a couple bullet points. Yep. I mean, it's just a label. It's whatever it is. It's just a matter of perspective. Equity is the act of forcing your morality on others by any means necessary. And that's what that black woman was attempting to do. Of course, they have to bring the black identity into it to give it another layer. That's why I think it's going to be Big Mike who's running for president. If I were to put money on who's going to be the Democratic nominee, it would be Big Mike. That's the only one. I don't know how they're going to fade Kamala to the background. Maybe they'll let Kamala battle up with her politically and just watch her get annihilated. But that black woman was doing equity, the act of forcing your morality on others by any means necessary. Leftists believe in perpetual equity. So they believe in a society where it's nothing but the pursuit of equity, the pursuit of forcing your morality on other people. That's what's happening. Well, there's people dying from gunshots. Well, that means you don't have the Second Amendment rights anymore. There's people dying of a virus, so that means you don't have rights anymore. Leftists believe in that, and their idea of perpetual equity as their utopia and government as their God. That's what it is, and I agree with you, MDR, so I've thought that through. Let me look real quick at the definition of vaccine, because I keep turning back to that a lot. I go back to the definition of what is a vaccine and what's happened with that. It's got to be once a week, believe it or not. It's very often I go back to that. And I think I have a piece saved in my bookmarks that covers that. So let me go in there. I'm going to be really mad at myself if I didn't bookmark this on Twitter. Because sometimes I'll look at something, I'm like, oh, yeah, I want to save that. And then I don't even bookmark it. So vaccine definition. Let's look at the progression of the definition. Here we go. This is a conversation with Thomas Massey. So he highlighted it well here. This is a breakdown from 2021. Vaccination pre-2015. The definition. So that's why I did my own definitions. I'm like, you don't define what these words mean anymore. For me, at least. I understand what you think they mean, but I know what they really mean to me. And I think we've got to take the language back. I don't know how that works. That's culture. Got to take the language back. It's hard. I mess it up all the time. We can't call this thing a vaccine. What I say is it's not the definition of a vaccine from traditionally. Vaccine pre-2015, injection of a killed or weakened infectious organism in order to prevent the disease. That's pre-2015. 2015 to 2021, the act of introducing a vaccine into the body to produce immunity to a specific disease. Why is it changing? As they're doing more vaccinations on the vaccination schedule. September 2021, vaccination. The act of introducing a vaccine into the body to produce protection. Because remember, all they were saying is it provides protection from a specific disease. That's a medical therapeutic. That's a drug. So from 2015, it was killed or weakened infectious organism in order to prevent the disease. 2021, produce protection. That's anything. Like I could take if I take a Theraflu, that's protection against a virus. Is that a vaccine? Absolute madness is what we're seeing. This was on the Mexico topic. You tell me what's going on here. I'm going to show you what I would have expected from the events in this sequence. In response to the Mexico topic, David Hogg, of all people, infamous for skipping every leg day that ever existed, David Hogg, the one who does nothing but try to advocate for taking away people's Second Amendment rights, David Hogg. David Hogg says, I support gun safety, but there is no such thing as a state public health emergency exception to the U.S. Constitution. David Hogg said that. And I'm going to go to Ted Lieu, then I'm going to go to Michael Knowles. David Hogg is the cabal leftist. Ted Lieu is a cabal leftist. So you're going to expect Michael Knowles to go off the top rope and come even harder against the unconstitutional acts from Grissom in New Mexico. Ted Lieu even wasn't down with it. I did verify these are accurate tweets, still active right now. Ted Lieu said, he's one of the worst too. I support gun safety laws. However, this order from the governor of New Mexico violates the U.S. Constitution. No state in the union can suspend the federal Constitution. There is no such thing as a state public health emergency exception to the U.S. Constitution. No shit. I don't need you to tell me that, but thank you. I appreciate you. So David Hogg said that. Ted Lieu said that. So you would expect Michael Knowles, if he's whatever he's labeling himself more on the right, would say, thank you, David Hogg. Thank you, Ted Lieu. I'm coming off the top rope and saying, Ted Lieu, do you side with me that the DOJ should investigate and arrest the governor if need be? And I think clearly you said it violated the U.S. Constitution. What's the consequence? What's the consequence for a governor clearly violating the U.S. Constitution outside of impeachment? There has to be another consequence, because what would stop the governor from saying, okay, and what's the consequence? That's what I would expect Michael Knowles to say. We're going to wait for his show on Monday to see. Instead, he says, Michael Knowles, this is a real tweet. Michael Knowles says, civil leaders do in fact have emergency authority to suspend temporarily many legal rights. That's his response to New Mexico. I said, delete your account. I don't know what's happening. I said, I think Brianna Wu hacked Michael Knowles. David Hogg is to the right of, I don't even know if that's right or left, but David Hogg is way closer to the Constitution, has a way better take on the New Mexico banning, suspending the Second Amendment in the whole state than Michael Knowles. David Hogg says there's no such thing as a public health emergency exception to the U.S. Constitution. Michael Knowles says civil leaders do in fact have emergency authority to suspend temporarily many legal rights. What's happening to our world? What's happening to the Overton window? My head is spinning. What is going on? Michael Knowles, who I hold everybody at Daily Wire at high regards, even though I don't obviously agree with any of them. Candace Owens and Matt Walsh is that dude. All of them. They got Jordan Peterson over there now, and even Brett Cooper. All of them. What's happening with Michael Knowles? Is he okay? I think somebody needs to do a wellness check. I don't know what happened with him. Strange happenings when David Hogg is to the right, or you could argue, of her. Crystal and Kai, I do have actually a channel that's for the populist left, and I need to upload to it. But here we go. Brianna Joy Gray was on with K&K, Kyle Kalinske, Crystal Ball. Are they married or just dating? I forgot. But Crystal and Kyle. So here's a clip. There's a lot of good clips from it, but here's a clip from it. And Brianna Joy Gray, she carries herself really well.
Chris Hedges says this all the time. It's a politics of fear. If you are more afraid of electing Trump than the Democratic Party is, you are never going to be able to exert any leverage on them at all. And I understand that's a risky position. I understand Trump getting reelected is scary. I understand that there are meaningful ways in which...
For anybody just like, wait, what's going on? I dabble in the populist left a lot, and they still don't like Trump. So that's all that is.
Risky position. I understand Trump getting reelected is scary. I understand that there are meaningful ways in which he's hurt real people in real ways. I understand all of that. And we just have a difference of opinion about what the priorities are.
So just to give the context, because I'm just pulling up this video, Kyle and Crystal, their argument is Donald Trump is so orange man bad. Donald Trump's so bad, we still have to support Joe Biden. It's almost like they're trying to get back on MSNBC. And it might work. If I was MSNBC, I would look at getting them back on as long as they're going to play the game and toe the line. If they're going to say, I think they're auditioning. I honestly believe that they're trying to audition to get back on MSNBC. Brianna Joy Gray has no chance getting on MSNBC like this. I don't know why they would want to do that, but maybe they could still do their show and then just have it simulcast on MSNBC. But they support Joe Biden because of Orange Man Bad. Brianna Joy Gray is saying she agrees Orange Man bad, but she's like, I'm not rocking with Joe because of that.
People in real ways. I understand all of that. And we just have a difference of opinion about what the priorities are. You said in that viral clip, Crystal, if your priority is reelecting the Democratic Party, then X, Y, and Z. And I think that was good that you said that because you articulated what the priority is for you.
No, that is not the priority for me. The policy is the priority for me, Bree. And I think you know that. And I think it's disingenuous to say otherwise. But let me just say though, is it worth? I mean, I think you care a lot about the labor movement, right?
Sure.
They talk over her. Brianna Joy Gray is so she's very respectful. She's very respectful. I think very highly of her. She gets on my nerves sometimes with cringe takes, but they always like when she gets into these discussions, and she's not afraid to talk to anybody. So I give a lot of respect for people who do that. They always talk over her. She's like, wait a second. I just quoted you.
So is it worth letting that baby be smothered in the crib in order to what? I mean, that's the piece that I don't understand. I understand all of your critique of Joe Biden. I think it's reasonable, okay? I actually am not as strong as Kyle in terms of the intentions on the student
more of a Biden bro than
debt,
she
right?
is, for sure. And she gets accused of being a bigger one than me, but that's a side point.
I understand your critiques of Joe Biden.
This nigga Kyle just labeled himself a Biden bro. I don't know what happened. This dude right here was a former Bernie bro. And that's why I said I think he's auditioning for MSNBC. You look at his look now. His look is getting MSNBC-ish. Like you would have him on the camera as, he almost looks like he's gay, but I don't think he is. I mean, that's his girl right there. She's attractive. He maybe goes both ways. I don't know. Not that it matters, but it does matter because when you see the men on MSNBC, other than like the legacy dudes, the men you see on CNN, well, I know MSNBC, so let me not talk about CNN. I watch a lot of MSNBC. Every single one of them seems to be gay. Other than like the legacy dudes have been there for like, Joe and Ari Melber and Robinson and Sharpton, every one of the other dudes that like are newer, new age, Kyle has the look to do it.
Very well.
Did he just call himself a Biden bro? This is cringe.
In order to what? I mean, that's the piece that I don't understand.
I guess
I
technically,
understand all of your critique of Joe Biden.
Technically, he said I'm more of a Biden bro, but why would you even say that?
I think it's reasonable. Okay, I actually am not as strong as Kyle in terms of the intentions on
more
the student
of a Biden
loan
bro
debt,
than she
right?
is, for sure. And she gets accused of being a bigger one than me, but that's a side point.
I understand your critiques of Joe Biden very well. Many of them, if not all of them, I basically share. What I don't understand is just simply a tactical question of how focusing on a third-party effort gets us towards the goals that we share. That's the piece that, to me, recent history.
Well, what we disagree on, Crystal, is that you think we don't agree on Biden. So she says, and I'm just going to say for myself here, just like, for example, Trump. We could have the same discussion about Trump. Well, why would you vote for he's not running, but Comic Dave Smith or Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai? Why would you vote for Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai and he doesn't have a chance? Well, I don't give a damn about this doesn't have a chance. I'm voting for the person I think who is running and I want to represent me, who I would want to represent me. And I have these problems. I don't think Donald Trump, I like Schedule F, where he would fire, well, he would have the ability to fire many of the federal employees that are the administrative state. I don't believe he's going to do it. He had a chance to go at Hillary. Now he didn't do it. Now he's calling her beautiful Hillary. Is it a joke? It's not funny. My point is I don't trust that he'll do it. He hasn't addressed my concerns. I would rather have somebody else, a firebrand. Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai will flame anybody, anytime, anywhere, fearless, and it's a message. So I'm going to vote for who I think has my back, who I want to have in there. Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai is running a candidacy. His campaign for presidency is applicable whether he's running for president or not. Very strong, very rare. So I'm not against Trump, but so it's the same type of argument. This one is Biden, and Crystal's trying to say we agree on Biden, and no, you don't. You don't agree on Biden. You think Biden's going to get you your goals. She does not.
Goals that we share. That's the piece that, to me, recent history proves it has the complete opposite effect, whereas we do see actual progress that is possible made through the Democratic primary process.
Hell
and I know
no.
you accept that. Like, you're not a Marianne hater. I'm not putting that on you whatsoever. But I don't understand how risking the reelection of Trump and allowing a Trump union-busting NLRB to quash what is the most hopeful thing happening in American politics, which is the labor movement.
Yes, the left just get on my nerves, man. They are just so about these purity tests. It's like they're so cliche and they're such about these. They don't have any principles. Their principle is like union. Well, what? The unions aren't doing anything. Like, why are you so into the unions? Because they're into the working, but they get on my nerves with this.
I don't understand how that moves us forward. Like, that just doesn't compute for me.
Well, for one, I'd say, and I don't mean to at all minimize the value of this latest ruling, but I have been heartened by the energy and the gains made by the labor movement prior to that. Over the last few years.
Which were enabled by the Biden NLRB. I mean, there were keys. The workers get all the, listen, they do the work. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. But there were key decisions that were made in the Starbucks organizing drive in particular, in the Amazon.
Look at Brianna's, am I short? Let me double check it sometime. Look at Brianna's face. She is something. I like that. She does not interrupt. She is very, but it's hard. I think she was a lawyer. She's very good. And she's now a host on The Hill. She's very easy to listen to, polished, very intelligent. And you see her working like she's looking at Crystal like, Crystal, you doing this bullshit.
I mean, there were keys. The workers get all
See her
the,
face?
listen, they do the work. I'm not trying to take anything away.
Crystal sees her face. That's why she's going back to, like, I'm not taking anything away from the workers.
Keys. The workers get all the, listen, they do the work. I'm not trying to take anything away from them. But there were key decisions that were made in the Starbucks organizing drive in particular, in the Amazon labor union drive as well. That
in the Amazon labor union drive, that was, I think they're talking about the Christopher Smalls stuff. That dude actually brought together MAGA with non-MAGA workers. So that he actually did some good things from that standpoint, which is very powerful. And they don't talk about that much. I don't know why.
Enabled those workers to do their thing. That wouldn't have happened under Trump.
It feels as though, one, the question has been asked and answered several times. You don't agree with my priority.
That was a good clip. There's more great clips with that. I want to go back to let me go in the chat and see how people are feeling. Let me go to Rumble real quick. Apologize for Rumble. I got to remember to go over there because I do not, just so you know, I don't get alerts. So on Rumble, let's go. I do have some chats in Rumble, 10 watching in Rumble. So let's take a break. Let me take a break and just pop out I do like you can pop out the chat. I need to get my other computer and just keep it up. So there's no excuses there. See how they're feeling over at Rumble. Man, y'all up late on a Saturday night. Great. Sunday, we got football. I'm not a big football person anymore, but yeah, it's worth noting. This is the live chat from Rumble. Let's go back and see what's going on. Raymond, 1968, says Trump was blocked and played by the DNC machine. He was trying to move the country forward. But this time, no playing around. We are going to see mass arrests of those involved with 8 years of BS. I respect you. So what Raymond's saying is he believes Trump's not going to play around this time. And to me, I could have believed that as well. Raymond. The reason why I can't is he's not answering my concerns. Christopher Wray. Why are you not firing off on Christopher Wray? Why do you have so much heat for Ann Coulter, but you don't have any heat for Dr. Fauci? I don't have time for it. I'm not against Trump, but I'm not here. I shouldn't have to be asking you for where's your nickname for Dr. Fauci? Because that's how he operates with the trash talking. Or if you don't want to do a nickname because it's childish, whatever, go after him. Where is it? He barely goes after Ray. He barely goes after any of these people that he made mistakes hiring. He should be going after them full. They're arresting him. He should be Michael Douglas falling down. He should be. Why is Tucker going harder than Donald Trump this cycle? Tucker out here talking about Barack Obama's a crackhead and gay. And Trump is going after Ron DeSanctimonious. And I think you can do some of that, but Trump's the one who should be like Barack Obama's a crackhead and gay. Trump's the one who should be going after people like that. Tucker's the one out here fearless. Tucker's the one out here talking about, the threats of war. I think Trump has talked on that too, but I don't know. I just don't see the fear. I don't see the fearlessness. Where has Trump really shown fearlessness, like going after people? The Ye dinner really rubbed me the wrong way, Raymond. It really rubbed me the wrong way. Where he had dinner with Nick Fuentes and Kanye, and maybe he didn't know who they were, but you should have a staff around you, like in the aftermath. It was a mistake not to know who they were or who was coming. I don't know what's going on. Who is around him? Nobody should be having dinner with Donald Trump that he doesn't have vetted and know who they are. But okay, that doesn't happen. In the aftermath, you get the feedback that people think Nick Fuentes is some, white racist or whatever, bull. And Trump doesn't know. Trump should have his people, number one, don't have anybody come in here eating with me that I don't know. Number two, give me a full breakdown on these dudes right now with people who know what they're talking about. Oh, this is what he's like. He's been a solid MAGA. Oh, he's the number one Gen Z guy in the MAGA movement. Oh, he's America first. Oh, this guy is influential. Oh, they want to label him as white nationalist just to kind of press up on and kind of formulate who's acceptable to have a voice in the town square and who's not. Oh, so my response should be F you, fake media. I can eat dinner with whoever the hell I want to eat with. Why isn't Trump like that? Unacceptable. So nothing that against you, Raymond, but that's my, tell me where I'm wrong. That really rubbed me the wrong way, his aftermath of the Nick Fuentes. Yeah, I can eat dinner with you. Yeah, you'll F yourself. Don't tell me who to eat dinner with. He can't even do that, and you think he's going to clean out the deep state? Oh, get out of here. Got me hype on Trump. Very disappointed in his lack of fire for people right now. I need him to get off of DeSantis. DeSantis is done. Let's turn it over to, let's talk about the showers with your daughter, allegedly from her, not from me. Let's talk about it. Just like my dude, Machine Gun Kelly had that beef with Eminem. He had that hook. Machine Gun Kelly. I love that song, man. That Eminem diss from Machine Gun Kelly. That was that joint. Rap Devil. I need to hear Trump coming out like Rap Devil. The hook on that song, as I look it up right now. The hook on the Rap Devil song. Crazy, crazy classic song. This is the Trump I need. Not even policy. Forget about policy. I need you falling down like Michael Douglas. I need you to have no F's to give. That ain't Trump now. The hook on that song was Machine Gun Kelly making fun of Eminem. I'm sick of them sweatsuits and them corny hats. Let's talk about it. I'm sick of you being rich and you still mad. Let's talk about it. Both of us single dads from the Midwest, we can talk about it. Or we could get gully. I'll size up your body and put some white chalk around it. That's the Donald Trump I need. Until that Donald Trump comes, I'm not against him, but I ain't voting for him. I need that Donald Trump who like, I'll size up your body and put some white chalk around it. That's what he did to Jeb Bush and them. That's what he did when he came up on Hillary and was like, you should be in prison. But then he didn't do it. I need that Machine Gun Kelly Donald Trump. He's not Trump enough for me. Not even close. That's why I was disappointed. Ye was out here talking about, I love the guy with the funny mustache. And I saw what he was doing. He didn't say anything about, I love what, him unliving people. He was like, I love everybody. I love Hillary. But he doesn't really love Hillary. But my point was, gosh, I wish Nick was old enough to run for president. That'd be vote, signed, sealed, and delivered. I'm more liberty focused. He's authoritarian. Doesn't matter. We need to shift things. Trump's authoritarian too. Either you're libertarian or you're not. So don't tell me I would vote for Trump but not for Nick Fuentes just because he's a Christian futurist. I wish it feels like Nick is always 24. Isn't he 25 yet? Am I in a time loop or something? Why does it seem like Nick's been 24 for like 4 years or 3 years? Makes me feel like I'm in a simulation or something like that. He's got to be 25 by now. You got to get to be, 37 to run? Damn, I'm going to be an old man. I'm going to be a black Santa Claus at the mall by the time. I'm going to be a black Santa Claus at the mall. There's no malls anymore, but I'm going to be a black Santa Claus at Cabela's and looking at my watch and be like, oh, 12 years from now? Oh, yeah. We in 2038 or something. And Nick Fuentes can run for president. Let's go. I'm getting loopy. It's late at night. But that's my, it's simple. You don't even need to get into policy with why I'm not. Trump isn't Trump enough. And I don't blame anybody rallying around him. He got the election stolen. And we just, obviously, I'm entitled to that opinion. There's enough evidence for me to be entitled to that opinion. And I understand it's almost like he's the incumbent or should be, kind of. And you want to rally around him. Things are getting scary. They're going after him. Who's going to pardon him? He would have to pardon himself, at least from the federal charges. The state charges would have to be, I don't know what, they have to be put on the back burner because you can't charge an active president. Otherwise, we will need to cancel Christmas. So don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming you. If you do vote for Biden, I do blame you if you don't know what's going on. So I'm not afraid to blame people or to challenge them, but that's why I'm not voting for Trump. I need him to be out here. I'm sick of them sweatsuits and them cordy hats. Let's talk about it. I'm sick of you being rich and you still mad. Let's talk about it. I'm sick of you walking off the stage and not knowing where you're going. Let's talk about it. I'm sick of you taking showers allegedly with your daughter, preteen daughter. Let's talk about it. I'm sick of you and your son racketeering schemes and laundering money out of Ukraine. Let's talk about it. Or we can get gully, I'll size up your body and put some white chalk around it. That's the Donald Trump I need. So go holler at him and find where he's at. Give me a time warp. And the 2016 version of Donald Trump would be out here gully in the streets. This 2024 version is like watering down Kool-Aid or something. Like taking a can of Pepsi and watering it down. I don't want that. I'll still have his back though if he wins. I won't be disappointed. I made a mistake. It was probably another mistake. I made a mistake when I didn't vote for him in 2016. 2020, nah, I voted for Yang in 2020. Nah, I'm not. Yeah, at that point, Yang was based. When Yang had great ideas. We found out after that he was bitch made, but up until that 2020, I stand by my math hat. That's under my bed with crumbs all over it. And I'm not getting it up on purpose because of how bitch made he turned out to be. 2016, I wrote in Ralph Nader. I guess he turned bitch made too, but Ralph Nader was, I might want to do another breakdown of Ralph Nader. He's one hell of a personality, one hell of a political figure. I should have voted for Trump in 2016. Fully acknowledge. I'm in a state where it wouldn't matter. I'm in Colorado. It wouldn't matter. But just principle. That matters. The principle matters. But Ralph Nader was great. I'm not sorry I voted for Ralph Nader, but it's clear in retrospect Trump was the right vote at that point. Trump has a gag order put on him by the DC court. I need the Trump that would be like, there ain't no gag order. I'm Grandpappy Don. I'm the Don Dada of this thing. I'm Biggie when he was alive. I'm Tupac. I'm the Tupac of the populist movement. Ain't no gag order on me. Fannie Willis is a bitch. These are political charges. There's no substance to them. I need him coming out calling out black women. I need Gully. I need we are in the midst of a constitutional crisis. A gag order on Donald Trump. Come get me. Come holler at me. That's what I need. That's the energy I need. It's not enough of that energy for me. Definitely not in the primary. He's too watered down. Gag order. Huh? I'm running for president. Have you not heard of the First Amendment? Come at me. You know where to find me. That's what I need. I don't need a Trump abiding by a gag order. I don't need that. And you think he's going to eliminate the deep state? He's abiding by a gag order by a pudgy, embarrassing, clout-chasing, despicable, embarrassing, black Iman, bootlicking, cabal working for, mental slave, race baiting, rogue district attorney. You're going to abide by, he's got gag orders all over the place, but let's talk about that one, the most recent one. He's going to abide by that? And you think that's the mood I'm in? He's just not in the mood. He was the shock to the system in 2016. No question. He's not the shock to the system now. And I wish it was different. Tell me how Trump is a shock to the system right now. I'll wait. Yeah. Too bad. It's too bad, but I'm not pessimistic. I'm optimistic. One of the reasons I'm optimistic is the Dilly meme team. is why I'm optimistic. Because they know Trump is a mascot and they are the memesters. And they take that mascot and they make culture impacting videos that hit harder than anything I can say behind the mic.
First off, fuck Jack Smith and the grind you claim. Black or ride till we die, know it's all a game. You claim to be for justice, but it's all for spite. All you back prosecutors get caught for life. You must be fucking stupid thinking MAGA quitters. FBI, DOJ, it's just some punk ass bitches. We keep on coming while we running for your jewels. Retribution spitly coming for you fools. You know the rules. Uniparty's about to find out how I'll leave you, cut your cartels up, leave you in pieces, not be deceased. Deep state, you fucked around with DT. Now you're about to find out what it means to fuck peace. I let the nation know it's time to fight, so let the MAGA side ride tonight. Traitors gonna pay up with the Hydra killed. You fuck with me, you get your head spilled. MAGA, see, take your shots when you see Trump pop. All the cops when you see Trump pop. Indict me, but your punks didn't finish. Now you're about to feel the wrath of the menace. MAGA, we hit 'em up.
Dilly Meme Team, this is from Ramble Rants. And we got another one from Ramble Rants. It's at Ramble_Rants. Must follow. Just go to Twitter, X, and search Dilly Meme Team. DILLEY MEMETEAM. Dilly Meme Team. This one's called Gay Day.
Wow, wow, wow.
Y'all play too much. Ramble Rants. I don't know who. It's the whole team. And they don't really, like, what I like about them, they're so humble. It's like none of them, like, try to take credit. They always like, hey, I got a tag team. We worked on it together. So that's why I like Trump, too, is that he can be used as an icon. This was obviously the one that we played recently, the vote rigor. Yes, I did use the hard E. Did an interview a while back with C3P Meme. Go to the channel and you can find it. He's the one that did the Sanford and Son, part of the team. And hopefully one day I'll be able to talk to them. Because right now things are hot. They in the middle of like you can't interview Michael Jordan when he's in the playoffs. Right now, these memesters, they on the computer right now. They're trying to find the next video, the next bar, the next rhyme, the next AI tool to use to completely annihilate their opponents. And so right now, it's not the time to be like, hey, can I talk to you real quick? No, I'm training right now, bro. But hopefully afterwards we can I can follow up one of my favorite interviews. You go back, I might even clip that and redo some of that because I never even clipped that one up. And it showed like his first meme that he ever did with Fauci and how he got started, and look where he is now, man. Great stuff. Over time, people change. And I used to be a Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez supporter, and she talked about how she changed in an article with the New York Times. And I'm going to break that down a little bit. I have ChatGPT here. I have a channel that's for AOC. That's the one with the populist left. It's the same one. And I'm going to break this down. This is a New York Times article. And let's get into it. The headline of the article is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on how she's changed. She matters a lot because she represents the populist left. And I wish we could just say populist and just leave it at that, but we can't. Steve Bannon is different than, there's no real populist left in DC, but Craig Pasta, different than Nico House, Fiorella Isabel. He's different. Jen and Peter. Well, it's funny because Jen and Peter, they run a great show, and their show is like the populist left version of War Room, where they just bring people on and it's just very informational and great. It's the exact same format and good feeling and vibe as War Room, but on the populist left, which is a brilliant idea. And really their channel should. I don't know why their channel doesn't. I don't have enough knowledge to know why their channel does not have 100,000 plus people. But with AOC, she said that since the election, since she was elected in 2018, she's been at the center of political discussions because she's put herself there. She's a brilliant marketer. Tax the rich, dress, all that kind of stuff. Even if it's negative fame, she always gets fame. Reception by parties, her unique approach to strong stances have led her to be celebrated for her fresh perspective and vilified for her progressive views by both members of both parties. She's not really vilified for her progressive views by the Democrat Party now, though. That was more when she first came in, when she was sitting in Nancy Pelosi's office. That was when she got a little bit. She's a good little obedient little girl right now. Evolution from freshman to veteran. Ocasio-Cortez has transitioned from being a newcomer in Congress to a more seasoned representative. Her experience has grown, and with it, her influence. I did think at one point she was going to run for president, and I don't know what's happened, but she struggled. She's not relevant enough to run for president. I don't think she's relevant enough. She can't raise the money. I don't think she would even win. I don't think she could win for Senate, much less president. So she's lost a lot of that momentum because to fit under the umbrella of the cabal, you have to become more cabal-like, and she hasn't been the firebrand anymore. So she has to find who she is. Nancy Pelosi was always in control. She had a similar start as AOC. Nancy Pelosi, believe it or not, could have been considered a populist left type for that time when she started out. And she transitioned into that corporate beast. AOC struggling with that. That's separate from the article. That's just my opinion. Third term in Congress. She's now serving her third term, indicating her continued support from her constituents and her sustained relevance in political discussions. Committee position, holding high-ranking position on a powerful House committee, showcases her ascent. Here's the evolution part. She honed her skills in maneuvering the complex landscape of Congress. This includes building relationships, understanding legislative procedures, and advocating for her constituents. She's trying to build alliances, engaging with adversaries. She doesn't shy away from that, of course. Progressive wing's perception, her growing influence and willingness to work from within the system might raise eyebrows. That's where we're talking about that transition to corporate. She sees value in having influence on the inside, even if it makes some suspicious. So she's trying to, I don't think she wants to be in the House forever. She's trying to broaden her appeal. Katie Porter is running for Senate. AOC's looking at it like, why can't I run for Senate? Carrie Lake's going to run for Senate potentially. AOC's like, well, why do I need to be in the House? I can raise money and do it. So that's what she's going to try and do. Highlights of this, it touched on her view there. I want to get some quotes from the article. I didn't get a good breakdown with the quotes there. And let's go over to the article here just to highlight some of the quotes. This is the New York Times. They do a lot of these pieces with her where they try to puff her up, and they never stick. They never work. It's a 31-minute listen, but I'm not listening, obviously.
Okay, so
I'm listening to all of it. The first part's probably going to be an ad, so hold on.
here we go. Can you introduce yourself and tell us how you describe AOC at 33?
Wow, they didn't start with an ad. I'm surprised.
Well, my name is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I am the Congresswoman for New York's 14th District, spanning the Bronx and Queens. And wow, what a question. AOC at 33. I think that perhaps some of the things that would describe me might be evolving, learning, challenging myself, but also rooted and grounded in who I am and why I'm here.
So you can see that's
I'm Lulu Garcia Navarro, a host at
it's an NPR style of interview. Let me fast forward, get another clip. Then we'll hear Nico House break down the reality.
discuss whether it would require an event or if it's just something that may one day happen. We're not sure. But I think
you have 13 million followers there, so it's a huge audience. It's, I think, your largest audience on social media.
Absolutely. And that's why it's not something to be taken lightly.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm curious about is for someone like you who has integrated the use of social media so much in the way that they engage with people, and especially young people, how you see your participation in a platform like Twitter, X, and
they're struggling. They're struggling. They get heat when they post on X, and it's not just from populists on the right. They get a lot of heat from populists on the left. So you don't even see her tweeting that much. Let me break away from this and I haven't even seen any tweets from her. What? I don't think she's even tweeting that much. And I will have to say, it might be with David Hogg actually acknowledging that public health emergency does not override the Constitution. It's possible that the way X is set up, that they know that those will do well because you'll get people from both sides agreeing, and it'll be more likely to say stuff like that. And until AOC is willing to do that, maybe she won't be able to. She won't be able to tweet as much. Let me see when she still has this as her post. Oh my gosh, she's got her pin. She got to change that. Okay, so she did tweet September 7th, and she was replying to, okay, this is a good one. Let's look at this. This is the clip we played a while back from Eric Adams talking about the immigration crisis, very candid response to the immigration crisis in New York. I don't like the beige on beige, though. I don't know, maybe this is just the lighting. I digress.
Month after month, I stood up and I said, this is going to come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here. We're here. We're getting no support on this national crisis, and we're receiving no support. And let me tell you something, New Yorkers. Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut. Every service in this city is going to be impacted.
So he's looking at the budget and he's like, this is going to get ugly. So he wants more money from the feds, but I don't know, maybe they're not giving him. Doesn't look like he's getting the money he wants.
All of us. I said it last year when we had 15,000.
See, what this is really, and I'm going to get to, the whole point is AOC's response, but what he's really doing here is politics. When it comes to like budget season, you'll see that in many corporations where you're kind of, that's where office politics gets heated at the higher levels because everyone wants to make sure their department doesn't get cut. So what's happening is Eric Adams is saying, I'm going to have to cut everything. Now I'm going to have to highlight Joe Biden and the immigration problem. Until you guys in the federal government break me off money for being obedient, I'm going to talk about your failures. The next step is for him to call out Joe Biden. If the feds don't somehow break him off money, really the House is going to come up with this appropriations bill, this continuing resolution, because they're not going to get by the end of September, there ain't going to be any permanent funding. It'll be a temporary resolution to fund the government, and they're going to New York wants money. We'll see what happens.
I'm telling you now, with 110,000, the city we knew we're about to lose.
Sounds like Trump. that's that 2016 Trump. The next step is for Eric Adams to say they're not sending their best.
Month after month,
they're sending their rapists. You remember when Trump was all that? That you go ahead and do that, Eric Adams. That might be your next step. Then I'll get you that promoted to ultra MAGA sweater. And I haven't even read this, so let's see what she says. On the fly here, I'm reading Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, choosing to gut public programs, favor big business, skyrocket rents, and defunding schools to add another $5 billion in militarization, and then blaming immigrants for it is not leadership. Ooh, it's pretty harsh. The White House does need to step up. So she's like, oh, I agree. You need to. Why do they keep saying the White House? The House is what? Alexandria Cortez is the one that would fund that from the federal government. We have solutions. Alienating people isn't one of them. That was a very harsh tweet. Let's see how the numbers did on it. The whole point of me bringing this up was just to look. I don't think AOC is doing the numbers she used to. When it was ruled by Yoel Roth and Vijaya Gadde, AOC was on top on Twitter. And then even then, later on, she was struggling. But she got 13 million followers. Her post should have good engagement with likes and retweets and stuff. We'll see. So let me go back and repack this before I reveal the likes on this and all that. This should be a Yaz Queen moment for her. So it should be a good response with likes and tweets, even as stupid as it is. Choosing to gut public programs, favor big businesses. But he's not choosing to gut. He has to because he doesn't have the money. But then that's why she said the White House does need to step up. She's talking about money there. But he's not choosing the gut. She's just trying to virtue signal to protect the immigrants. Favor big business. I don't know what she means by that. Skyrocket, like specifically. I know what she means, but I don't know the specifics in New York. Skyrocket rents. What does that have to do with Eric Adams? He doesn't control rent. Does she want rent controls? They probably do. And defunding schools, it's more money. So her tweet doesn't make any sense. It did do well. 600 views, 624. Not that many likes, though. Not that many likes. Just looking at it, yeah, she's not getting... For 624,000 views, that's not a lot of likes. And that's not a lot of quote tweets. Somebody said Adams has not done that. AOC has avoided criticism, and the quote tweets are all critical of her. So my point on that digression is she's not the same social media beast she was before. Let's let Nico House have the final say. He's repping with Hotspot now, doing these good short hotspot news type of video responses.
For a nice little puff piece for AOC. She claims she may have changed, but she's not an insider yet. Now, one of the things I found interesting about this piece is that she said that when she entered Congress, that she was on a mission to prove that she was serious and skilled and not just about getting headlines. You mean this AOC right here is actually a serious politician, the same one who faked support for undocumented citizens by doing a photo op where she pretended she was crying. Oh, my bad. You mean this AOC who wore a tax the rich dress worth $35,000 as she went to the Met Gala where she passed a bunch of protesters outside that were protesting the Met Gala. This AOC is serious, right? And to prove she's a skilled legislator, I'm going to talk about all the progressive policies that AOC has gotten passed. Well, I can at least name all the times where she used her skills and her political acumen to stop Biden and the Democrats from pushing their neoliberal agenda. Okay, well, so what if she actually hasn't gotten literally anything done in Congress since she's been elected? And so what if she says she doesn't do things to make headlines and clearly does everything to make headlines? Like, that's like not even that important. Well, hold on, at least we can say that the one real chance that we had to get universal health care, AOC and the squad used their power to force Nancy Pelosi to do it by not voting for her for Speaker of the House, right? Like that's, no, actually, she
forced
didn't do that
the
vote. Okay, well, I know that at least AOC used her voice that has a reach of millions to challenge the Biden administration every time they tried to pass a neoconservative or neoliberal policy. At least that. Except the part where they sent a bunch of money to Israel and AOC voted for it. And then they sent a bunch of money to Ukraine and AOC voted for it. And then they put more kids in cages than Trump and Obama combined. And AOC had nothing to say about it. And then after she was screaming, defund the police, she voted to give police across the country more funding. AOC said that when she first came into Congress, the Democrats were hostile towards her. And now they're not anymore. Why would they treat you like an enemy and an outsider when you clearly have been one of their most useful insiders since you've been elected?
So that's the breakdown. That's the end of the AOC topic. I'm going to end on a good moment, I think, from the court system, from my knowledge of looking at it. This is the teacher's topic, and this is a good breakdown on this post on X from the Children's Health Defense. First of all, let me play the video here. This video is 1:30. What we're going to talk about is teachers being reinstated after being wrongfully terminated for not receiving COVID vaccines. This is the case of DeCapua versus the city of New York.
I want to recognize the huge victory for the 10 original Kane and Kyle plaintiffs who filed a lawsuit in federal court in August of 2021 have been
August of 2021, the court system now, over 2 years later, finally.
Fighting diligently for 2 years now. Today, in this landmark decision, the judge held that they are all entitled to be reinstated with back pay, full seniority, and no break in service. So that is huge.
That is huge.
And very well deserved. Now we need to get relief for the rest of you. Everybody. And what this decision does is it sets precedent that will help us do that. We're going to celebrate this victory because this is a victory.
You heard at the beginning of the show about this great victory in New York. That litigation is expensive. If you can, go to the CHD website. If you're not a member, become one. It's a little bit of money, but it counts and it adds up. If you can afford to make a donation, do it, because I can't tell you how important it is to get these attorneys marching into courts, and it's making a difference. I just want to make a pitch for supporting CHD and CHD TV, and I want to thank all of you for everything you've done to make all this litigation to date possible.
The judicial system is the last hope. And with this type of ruling, it makes everyone, as we go into some more pandemic nonsense, and what I mean by that is the government response, and this will make everybody hesitate to do that same type of stuff. It will make the Joe Biden, if you have say you have Big Mike becomes president, Big Mike would want to do what Joe Biden did, basically try to force needles in arms to have you keep your job. But when you see rulings like this, I don't know. They might have to hesitate. So the teachers, the 10 plaintiffs, have been reinstated effective with back pay. That's huge. Because you're thinking like, oh, I might not do that. I might not try to fire people next time because that back pay might come. With back pay, no break in service. The judge presiding over the case, Judge Porzio, agreed that the denial of religious accommodations to refuse that juice, the COVID vaccine, was unlawful. In his 22-page ruling, I was looking for the PDF, I couldn't find it, but this is good enough. He stated that there was no rational basis for, this is a quote, no rational basis for the seemingly blanket denial of any religious exemption to all classroom teachers. Because of the diligent work by attorney Sujata Gibson and the support of CHD, Children's Health Defense, the precedent has been set, giving others the opportunity to file a similar suit. Very big news. Additionally, this ruling provides hope to teachers in the state of New York that they can rely on these religious exemptions. This was the purge. So you have the teachers union. These teachers, they want all blue. They want all adhering to whatever the narrative is. And the ones who did not take that juice, the vaccine, they are the ones that were looked at as we can't trust you when the government tells us to put on knee pads, that you will put on your knee pads. So we want you gone. And this goes against that. The court's ruling on class certification still leaves the door open to future relief for thousands of teachers. I'm not a legal expert, I have to look at it, but I would think this could affect even non-teachers. We intend to file a motion of reconsideration on a narrower basis. Great victory in New York. And Catherine Fitz commented on CHD TV, litigation is expensive. Like you saw there, it's important to get these attorneys marching into courts, and it's making a difference. That's a great way, I think, to end the live. Really happy to see it. Much respect. Props. Let's go. Hopefully we see more good court rulings like that. I can't wait to listen to Viva and Barnes tomorrow. I'm sure there are some Viva and Barnes fans with all the legal stuff. Viva and Barnes, if you don't know, they have a channel where they go through all the legal cases. They're going to be talking about that, I guarantee you. Talking about New Mexico, guarantee you. These are lawyers. Barnes is just not only a lawyer, just a prodigy, child prodigy, brilliant dude. And not that I always agree with him, but because when he gets outside of the law, like his take on Nick Fuentes is cringe. His take on Gab is cringe. On Torba, I don't like it. But as far as the legal stuff and strategy, he's just great. And he's unbiased. He sides with the populist left on things. I like where he comes from. I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. Well, thanks everybody for joining. Yes, good night. We're going to be out. I'm going to leave you out with Harriet Hagerman. We're in a place where Harriet Hagerman gets me hyped. Ultra Mega Party did that video, one of my favorite videos. I kind of used to end the show on it every night. Good way to end the night. Everybody take care. Have a great Sunday. Let's lead into the Sunday with this right here.
We're fed up with the Green New Deal and the socialists who created it. We're fed up with the attacks on our fossil fuel and energy industries. We're fed up with an open border. We're fed up with human trafficking. We're fed up with fentanyl flooding our country. And we're fed up with illegal immigration. We're fed up with critical race theory. We're fed up with boys competing in girls' sports. We're fed up with We're fed up with the liberal media, Twitter, Facebook, Google, and YouTube for blocking conservative speech. We're fed up with our government and universities censoring conservative thought, canceling debate, and rewriting history. We're fed up with the corruption in the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, the CIA, the NSA, and the police and courts. We're fed up with mask mandates, vaccine mandates, the CDC, the NIH, the WHO, and the misinformation campaign surrounding COVID-19. And we're fed up with Anthony Fauci. We're fed up with the politicians and the elitists in D.C. who are getting rich while the middle class falls further behind every year. We're fed up with Joe Biden, with Nancy Pelosi. We're fed up with the January 6th Commission and those people who think that they can gaslight us. And we're fed up with Liz Cheney. Putting everyone on notice. As of November 8th, we're taking our country back.